And then there is this unfortunate gender bias, right? There is a lead and there is a follow, which I think, I'm not complaining about our culture, but pan world, the male are the leaders and female are the followers. But I kind of have this opinion that dance never classified a step according to a gender, caste, creed, religion, and anything, right?
Yeah.
So just because I was born and I didn't have a choice, right, to be born as male or female, or any sort of creation, I was just presented with what I have.
Right.
Then I should have the freedom of movement of choice, and not sort of so. And within my school, at least, I kind of break this barrier of male will lead and female will follow. So in my classes, first of all, I don't call them lead and follow. I call them intention and response. It's not lead and follow, because lead and follow is often misunderstood with power.
Yes, exactly.
People think I'm a leader, I'm more powerful than a follower. Followers are weaker. So I kind of have got rid away of this lead and follow concept. I made it intention and response. Intention and response is like a high five. If I raise my hand to give you a high five, you give me a high five. Both are coming into balance with each other. If one overpass, the other one get hurt, right? So intention response is a balance of a balance of effort rather than more strengthening. It's like a handshake, right? So which is why my school, my teachings is kind of based on intention response, and breaks away from the gender bias and calls it like intention response. So which means most of my students are training, actually all of my students are training to be intentions and to response, and they don't need to kind of wait for boys to come to a party or girls to come to a party. It takes two to dance, and the two of them one can be intention, the other one response, and vice versa. This concept is something which I'm finding, I won't say difficult, but I have to be very careful when I'm pushing across to students, because they come with an idea that I have to do this role because that's what they see on TV. And I'm not saying what has been happening is incorrect. I'm just saying this is my take on it. And they come with a certain perception that, I need to do this, I need to do that, and I'm expected to do this. But when they go home, they also realize that they have a social presence, right? So if like the guys start to do the girls thing, then there is a social pressure in them. But it's important for me to balance that out in class. And then when they talk about it, they talk about it normally rather than seem like they're defending themselves. So, in order to be able to push that concept, I'm not saying it'd be easier in another country, but as far as my classes are here concerned, it's getting easier by the day, because my students are talking that language. And eventually what's going to happen is when you walk in, your expectation is to learn two movements and not just one, especially when you're in the same class, right? So why should I not listen to one and listen to the other? So if you're all listening to every information, so you can learn both, right? Why only learn one?
Correct.
So that's getting easier by the day, but definitely I've had one-on-one conversations. So I do a lot of one-on-one chats with my students to find out what they're thinking, if they're having any difficulty in class, are they uncomfortable with somebody, the kind of how they measure their progress, where do they see themselves in 6 months. I have a set of questions which go across to them to be able to understand, what I am saying is just one way, or is it actually happening two way? To be able to come to that conclusion saying this works, this doesn't work, because I'm evolving as a teacher, learning from my students every day as well. And when I say this, I mean it. It's not just a sentence. Absolutely. I want to learn from them. So it's new to the city, because on screen there is something else, and they come with the idea of learning what is on screen, but when they come in, they are introduced to the same concept but slightly differently, which is fun, and at the same time may not be very business friendly, but I'm okay with that. As far as I'm confident about what I'm saying, I'm sure I'll be able to make people understand that the gender was never part of dance, and it never said that if you are Hindu you can do this, if you are Japanese you can do this, or if you're Muslim you can do that, or if you are darker than me, or if you're a different gender to me. Dan said, I'm here. No, you can do what you want. You want to do it as a boy, as a girl, as a Hindu, as a Muslim, as a whatever you want. I'm here. So I try to connect everybody to that concept, which is freedom that dance gives you, because it's to express, not to impress, right? And people often forget that, we are so lost in doing hairstyles and perfume. It's all to impress, but dance was always to express. I want to kind of reconnect them to the freedom dance gives us, rather than, you know, shackles of impressing and like, oh, ye kya bolega, wo kya bolega, hum kya sun rahe hain. Let that go, and it's fine. And especially another thing that